Sam Darnold is heading to the Seattle Seahawks on a 3-year deal worth $33.5 million per season. Will he be able to pick up from where he left off last year, or is he going to come back down to earth? To me, Sam Darnold is no different from what Geno Smith is as a player. The only difference between him and Geno is that you're getting Sam Darnold for $33.5 million. Meanwhile, you were going to have to dish out $40 to $45 million to keep Geno around. What concerns me about Sam Darnold going to the Seahawks is that, unlike Geno Smith, he's not good playing well in a muddy pocket. We saw Sam Darnold unravel his final games as a Viking when teams were able to get heavy pressure in his face and he wasn't able to operate out of clean pockets. Geno Smith was one of the most effective quarterbacks under pressure. The Seattle Seahawks offensive line has been terrible for over the last decade, and that's not hyperbole. That's not a metaphor. Go look it up. This offensive line has been dog water for like a whole decade. The last time the Seahawks had a good offensive line, I was in middle school. They had a center they got from the Saints called Max Unger. That's the last time I remember the Seahawks ever putting an elite offensive line on the field. So with you going from Geno to Sam Darnold, it's not an upgrade, but it definitely could be a downgrade if this thing spirals left like it has the possibility to, with you have a new offensive coordinator as well. There's a lot of key pieces that Sam Darnold is not going to have in Seattle that he had in Minnesota that contributed to him having a revival in 2024. You had Kevin O'Connell, one of the best offensive minds in the league. You were throwing the Jay Jettas and Jordan Addison along with TJ Hawkinson. You had a really solid offensive line. You're not getting that in Seattle anymore. Can he be able to overcome a team that has certain limitations? Can he still be able to produce, top 15, top 12 quarterback numbers on a team that right now we don't really know what direction the Seahawks are heading? Is this a team that is trending downwards after a 10-win season with them getting rid of DK, Tyler Lockett, the main nucleus of guys? When you think of Seattle, you think of those players. Seattle looks foreign right now. I'm not going to say that Sam Darnold is going to not pan out, but I'm not going to sit here and guarantee that he's going to end up being what he was last season. That's why it was such a huge risk trading away Geno Smith, because at least with Geno Smith, in spite of the turnovers, you were still able to get a guy that most weeks was good enough to win you a handful of games. With Sam Darnold, though, he also has turnover issues. He can be a little bit reckless with the ball. Remember when he had like 4 turnovers against the Jacksonville Jaguars? So if you were upset with Geno Smith's red zone turnovers, Sam Darnold's going to piss you off even more this year, possibly. This Sam Darnold signing is a lot more riskier than what you may think. Believe it or not, there's no guarantee that with him getting a defensive-minded coach, transitioning from an offensive-minded head coach, this is going to be smooth sailing for the Seahawks. They're in a place of maybe no return. They still can't get the offensive line right no matter how much they try. In the ground game, Kenneth Walker, he's injury prone. Zach Charbonnet, he was okay, but I got a lot of answers when it comes to the Seahawks. And the reason why I keep bringing up all these external factors is because Sam Darnold is one of those quarterbacks where for him to be efficient, he needs a good supporting cast around him. He needs a good play caller who can help elevate him. When you have Sam Darnold and a tailor-made situation like last year, he can produce. But when you have one too many limitations that Sam Darnold has to make up for, you could possibly get the Sam Darnold that you saw in New York. And this could be a massive disaster of a free agency signing for the Seahawks. Not going to say right now that it will be, but I'm not sure that this is going to play out the way a lot of Seahawks fans are hoping that it will. I think best case scenario, they also end up drafting a quarterback that can sit behind Sam Darnold. Maybe they draft a Jackson Dart or a Jalen Milroe, because they definitely have to have a little bit of some doubts that maybe Sam Darnold was a little bit of lightning in a bottle, and he definitely won't be as good this year as what he was last year. And even if he is a solid starter, Is he going to be good enough to put up MVP numbers again? Like, maybe last season was the best that we will ever get out of Sam Darnold. Even if he does end up being pretty good for Seattle, he may not ever be what he was in 2024 because he was putting up MVP numbers. He was an MVP candidate for a good duration of the season. And it's hard to see a guy like Sam Darnold who hasn't really had, track record of consistent play, being able to string along 2 back-to-back MVP level seasons. But we will see. Time will tell.